Okay, so we're going to continue this little focus on this wonderful thing, like a wizard or a witch, called spelling. Okay, so the first thing to understand is when we come to spell a word, words have been built up from stem words. A stem word is a little word that sits in the middle. So it could be this word, appear. Now, when we have a stem word, what we have to understand is that there are two sides to this word. There is the prefix or pre coming before, and there is the suffix or coming after. Now, these are called affixes. And affixes are really important because they actually build words. And we can create many more words for usage by using a prefix or a suffix. Let me show you how. Imagine we have this word appear, but we want to flip it to the opposite of the word. So we can use this light switch approach where if we turn it on, or we can turn it off. Let me show you what I mean. I can put into appear a prefix called dis. Now all of a sudden I have something disappear. What was it? We don't know because it's disappeared. But now we can be calling a suffix. This was the disappearance. And the suffix changes the role or the part of speech the word is playing. Let me explain that more. Imagine I have a word, danger. Now there's lots of danger, and danger is what we call a noun. It's a naming word. That's the sign, danger, keep out. So danger though, imagine if we're saying don't go there because it is, and we're going to describe the thing, we're going to say it is dangerous. So we put a suffix ous to show that it is an adjective. It's giving meaning to the noun. So for instance, we could have a dangerous tree. We could have a dangerous drink. We could have dangerous traffic. So the us makes it into an adjective. Now, we don't just use us for danger, we use us for other elements that are nouns. For instance, thunder. Well, it was a thunderous storm. We can do this in different ways, but being aware that us adds to the part of speech a word is playing makes more sense. Because imagine if you were sad. What's the noun for sadness? What do we call this thing? We don't say it is sad, we call it sadness. And ness on the end of a word takes an adjective and makes it into an abstract noun. So we name this emotion sadness. And we don't just have to be sad because there is happiness as well. Now, there's lots of other things we can do too. Imagine if we put a lot of effort into something, but then we didn't put much effort into anything. That would be an effortless approach. We could be looking at all these areas, and by changing the suffix, our word power, our part of speech is altered. Now, this is why suffixes are all to do with the grammar, which is the part of speech. Now, remember we talked about this thing called the prefix. The prefix gives things an opposite. So I've got appear, disappear. I could do other things. I could be a very responsible person, responsible person, but if I'm not, I'm irresponsible, which means the opposite of responsible. There are sometimes I'm being very true to myself, but there are times I am untrue. Imagine if a ball bounds and then bounces back, it rebounds. And imagine if I was to approve, but then I said no, that would be disapprove. And so our spelling, first thing to understand is let's look at the root word, the stem, and then start to think about suffixes being added onto it and prefixes being onto it. Every word can be built from other words. And by thinking that way, our spelling will not be proved, it will improve.